because I think it's a very important point that you've made. And I know that a great many people listen to the instruction, oh, you must detach. What does that mean? What is the mechanical function of detaching? I've worked this one out over many years. It's the process of disidentifying. So when you no longer identify with something, and that to me is where detachment comes in. The disidentification process is the seminal piece there. And to be able to, in the first instance, arrive at an alpha point in your own consciousness, which is that the geometry of this moment is perfect always and always. That's the given. That's start point. You have no option but to actually surrender to that fact, because that's universal law. The geometry of now is perfect always in always, even if you're waking up in a gulag or at the end of a barrel of a gun. That is all perfectly appointed geometry of the soul. It is covenanted. It is here because you, as creator, as manifester, as son or daughter of God Most High, you are the one manifesting that geometry in the now. You ultimately have no choice but to accede to that fact. Now, the idolatrous mind of the pedestrian Christian, Islamic, Judaic mind is an idolatrous mind in the first instance that is idolizing false light, not the Master Jesus or Lord Gautama Buddha or Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. Most zealous Christians, Muslims, Buddhists are idolaters in that sense. So they are identifying with an icon, with an idol. With the best will in the world, they're still making a terrible mistake. Why? Because the effigy of Jesus is the Antichrist in that sense. You actually identify with the false light aspect. The essence of the Christed one is way beyond that, as is the Buddha. Don't forget, the greatest dictum of the Buddha was, you find the Buddha on your path, kill him. That is actually the highest dictum. The Master Jesus would never have permitted to have his gospel written down and then repeated ad nauseum by perverse priesthoods over millennia. What a grotesquerie, what a grotesque notion to the man Nazareth. The same thing with Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. He was a great warrior, a tremendous guy, womanizer, drinker, used foul language. He was a warrior. And he's been turned into this holier-than-thou bullshit fucking icon dreamt up by perverted priests who've never got their wick off. And this is what happens, the inversion of Kundalini, the inversion of sexual energy, the corrected use of life force ends up perversifying. That's why you've got this pedophilic Catholic Church running amok for the last 500 years, conducting its marauding and massacring, because that's what happens with the wrong process of identification. So if you stop identifying with the icon and actually start to identify only Atman, with the essence of that which is, that self-exists, self-reveals, self-fulfills. And if you want to give that the name Jesus or Buddha, that's it entirely, you'd still be making a bit of a mistake. Because ultimately you have to move only into alignment, into pure conduit with super soul, with the Godhead, so to speak. That's the point. And that's the reckoning that we're all of us being forced into now. I understand that a lot of this vernacular or this language offends the more pedestrian Christian mind. I get that. Most of my conversations are with Christian patriots, and I've beaten up 1,000 times, but I've beaten them up harder than they've beaten me up, because I love people, love truth, and truth is above what you want it to be. Pure truth is pure truth. It's the essence. It's the Atman. So I would suggest that what Megan said is vital in our understanding, and certainly in how we tool ourselves up to navigate this great quickening, this reckoning that's upon us. We have no choice but to begin the process of disidentifying from the fiction, from the idols, from the icons. And remember that all of that, emphasis, the Jesus myth, in the Catholic sense, is a pictorial representation of a scion of the black nobility, Caesar Borgia. You're not looking at anything like what the master from Nazareth looked like. You're looking at a black nobility, draconian bloodline scion called Caesar Borgia. Okay, a piece of shit human being by best accounts back in the day. and his beautiful, beatific face was adopted as the face of Jesus, which is the one that good Catholics all around the world worship. That should give you some idea of the gulf between the real and the fictitious.